undeniable. Undeniable. We undeniable. We undeniable. We undeniable. We undeniable.
Well, there we go. Hi, folks. Everyone well? Yeah, it's the end of the day. Have you learnt something today? Hands up. Have you learnt 100 things today? Hands up. Oh, excellent. You're about to learn a lot more as well as we finish off this magnificent day. My name is Dr. Tim Kitchen. I am Adobe's Senior Education Specialist for Asia Pacific, but I've only been working for Adobe for 3 years. Before that, I want you to guess what job I did before I entered the IT industry. What do you think? I made kitchens. No. Not even close. What do you think? Teaching? Correct. Well done. I was a school teacher. Now, next question. Have a guess, how many years do you think I was in the classroom teaching for? How many? Did you say 23? You've obviously read the blurb in advance. I'm very impressed. Well done. 23 years. Can you believe that? Now, I was a primary school teacher, I was a secondary school teacher, and I taught at Swinburne University as well in Melbourne. And around about 3 years ago, Adobe, like a lot of IT companies that work in education, were looking for someone who had primary, secondary, and tertiary background to try and do this sort of work where we go and communicate with teachers and students around Asia Pacific. And when they approached me, I thought, wow, what an opportunity. And it has been an amazing journey over the last 3 years to be involved in this type of work. So my mission and the mission of Adobe in education is to inspire and empower the next generation to be lifelong creators. Now, hands up if you're a coder in the room. Okay, good. Wow. That's a lot more than last year. That's terrific. Hands up if you're a designer in the room. There you go. Hands up if you have absolutely no idea what your passions are at this stage. Yeah. Key question. Hands up if you're a bit of everything, a bit of a coder and a bit of a designer. Yeah, good. That's what I'm kind of hoping to hear. Because one of the key messages of this little presentation, and I noticed it being a key message in a lot of the presentations that I've heard today, is to develop your skills in a whole range of areas. If you're a coder, don't just think of yourself as being a coder for the rest of your life. If you're a designer, don't just think of yourself as being a designer for the rest of your life. Learn a bit of coding. Coders, learn a little bit of designing. Because what we're looking for in industry, we're looking for people who can code, sure, but who can also communicate and communicate well with other people. We're looking for people who are designers but can also appreciate what coding's all about. We're looking for people who don't just play games, they can make games. We're looking for people who don't just watch television and movies, they're able to make television and movies, because that's what 21st century communication is all about. We're about to play a game. I've got some helpers in the room who are going to give out prizes. Now, these prizes are pretty special. You know how Microsoft is giving away an Xbox today to someone? Well, we're giving away a series of Adobe pens. Thank you. These cost almost $1 American each. But they're not just Adobe pens. If you look very closely at the end, and if you're lucky enough to get one, it's also a stylus. Ooh. All right, the way the game works. I've got a logo up there which everyone's seen today, very, very famous logo. Behind that logo will appear another logo. You need to put your hand up and tell me what company is being represented by that logo. Wait for it to come up. Hasn't come up yet. Just be patient. Where are my helpers? Hands up, helpers. All right, you've got to help me too. I'm gonna look for the first hand up. Here we go. Ready, set, go. Oh, first hand up was over here. The answer is Google is correct. Well done. Round of applause for that, gentleman. Next one. Ready, set. Oh, just here. Yep, this hand right here. What's the answer? American Express is correct. Well done. Next one, ready? Just for the girls. Ready, set. This young lady just here. Yep. Correct. Well done. She gets it. Well done. Next one, just for the boys. Ready? Set. Oh, right at the back there. I saw a hand straight away right at the back. And one of my helpers can choose one of the boys. They were so quick out there. What's the answer? Give us an answer. Erickson is correct. Well done. Excellent. Teachers. Here we go, just for the teachers. Ready, set. Oh, we've got a teacher right here. Oh, hesitation. Estelle Lauder is correct. Well done. Excellent. Tell me, is it a product you're very familiar with? Yeah, no. Good, just checking. Good. All right, next one for everyone. This is the last one. See if you can guess it already. Oh, look at all the hands up. I tell you what, this gentleman right in the middle, not only did he stand up, he put his hands up to the answer. Adobe. Well done. Round of applause. All right. Thanks, folks. Didn't just play this game just for the fun factor, although that's important too, especially at the end of the day when we're a little bit tired. What we also did is there's a reason why I played this game, because if you have a look at those companies that we represented there, have a look at them. They're the best workplaces for last year according to BRW's Great Places to Work. Now, out of all of those places that you can see there, have a look at what those ones that I've circled are all about. What are they all focused on? IT. Can you see how out of the top 10 best workplaces in 2015, half of them are IT focused? IT is a really strong area for you to consider being involved with. Now, the reason why Google is number one, has anyone been to the Google workplace here in... Yeah, pretty amazing. It's almost as nice as the Adobe one. Oh, well, it's pretty close there too. One of the things that we do at Adobe is we do a lot of research, and some of the research we've done recently was with hiring managers, people who are hiring young people like yourselves out of schools and universities. And we asked them, what are the skills that you're looking for in young people coming out of schools and universities? And some really interesting results. Expectations are increasing for candidates like yourselves to be tech savvy, to be digitally sophisticated, but also to be creative. So again, that theme of learning lots of skills and not honing into just one area. Problem solving, critical thinking, creativity comes up again. And innovation and technical specialist skills will be most in demand over the next 12 months. Well, that was almost 12 months ago now, but have been and continue to be. Students are encouraged to develop a wide range of skills and focus on creativity to set yourselves apart. And that's the big theme of this little presentation. Now, you probably know this gentleman here. I must admit, I did show this slide to a group in Singapore late last year, and then when they said the word Prime Minister, they looked confused. And they said, isn't your Prime Minister a lady with red hair? Yes, But anyway, that's a long story. So Malcolm Turnbull said this just before he became a Prime Minister. Digital skills should be the new kind of national literacies, as fundamental as reading and writing. Now, for young people, yeah, it kind of makes sense because we're working with this sort of technology all the time. We're playing, we're using it all the time. For the older folk, that's quite radical. In fact, let's find out a little bit more about what our leaders here in Australia are saying about innovation and about creativity and skills.
Our economy is transitioning away from the mining boom. The record commodity prices that drove growth are now receding. Our future growth will depend on a different type of boom, an ideas boom.
Technology and science are changing the way we live our lives, the way we work and the way our economy grows. What we consider cutting edge today, our children will look back on as ancient history.
The key to our future success is innovation to drive productivity and competitiveness.
As we make the transition to a 21st century economy, we need to actively encourage innovation to grow the jobs of the future. Innovation is everyone's business. It can happen in the classroom, on the land, in businesses, and in every job, industry and sector of the economy. Innovation isn't just entrepreneurs chasing the next Facebook. Innovation is a way of improving everything, making everything more viable, more productive, often simpler, and certainly more effective. It involves all of us and applies to all endeavours.
Very key message there from our leaders. Now let's go further abroad. Let's look at our world leaders now, and let's find out if there's any similar messages from this guy.
Hi, everybody. As I said in my State of the Union address, we live in a time of extraordinary change. Change that's affecting the way we live and the way we work. New technology replaces any job where work can be automated. Workers need more skills to get ahead. These changes aren't new, and they're only going to accelerate. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, how can we make sure everyone has a fair shot at success in this new economy? The answer to that question starts with education. Workers of all kinds need to be able to figure out how to break a big problem into smaller pieces and identify the right steps to solve it. In the new economy, computer science isn't an optional skill, it's a basic skill, right along with the 3 R's. 9 out of 10 parents want it taught to their child in school. Yet right now, only a quarter of our K-12 schools offer computer science. 22 states don't even allow it to count toward a diploma.
Interesting stats. Now, a question I have, is your school giving you the opportunity to develop these sorts of skills? Now, put your hand up if they are. Coding, great. Web design, excellent. Video production. Robotics. Engineering. App development. Game development. Creative thinking. Entrepreneurship. Yeah, good. Computational thinking. 21st century communication. Okay. Tell you a quick little story. This is a guy that I met last year. His name is Leo McLaren. He's actually now 16, I think he's 17 years old now. When he was 13 in grade 6, when he was 12, 13 in grade 6, he wanted to learn how to make an app. And he went to his teachers and they couldn't help him. They weren't doing anything at their schools. Obviously, it was a primary school. You could understand that, I suppose. So he taught himself. And he taught himself how to code. And he ended up, at the end of that, developing a little company called App and Away. Now he's the CEO of this company. He actually employs people to make apps. And he's still doing his secondary school. Well, that blows me away. He's in Queensland. He's just finishing off his QCE, the Senior Secondary School Certificate in Queensland. And he's also on the speaking circuit, so he has to do it through distance education. I was speaking at a conference recently. He was my warm-up act. I felt as though I should have been his warm-up act because he was amazing. And the first thing he said when he got up on the stage was, every student should learn to code. And all the kids around there go, yeah. And all the teachers that were there were going, what's code? Well, not all of them, but it was really interesting how there's still that sort of difference there between us. This is a young lady that I met a couple of years ago too. She started up her own little business. I want her to introduce herself to you.
I love sport. I play soccer and I love action sports photography. So my first one was downhill mountain biking. Some of my mates do it and I went to a race and I just took the best action shots that I could and then converted them in Photoshop, made some posters. That's my magazine cover that I made. This is my skateboard I made. I skate, so I make boards. I cut it out, took a photo of the board, and then took all these photos and laid them in Photoshop. And then a sign writing company printed it onto like a sticker for me. Went down to Fox BMX Pro in Melbourne, shot some awesome action shots of BMXs. I reckon that's the best action shot that I've taken.
I love the enthusiasm. I love the entrepreneurial spirit. She had a passion and she developed a business out of that passion and she was making money from that business before she finished secondary school. Now she's studying at La Trobe University, studying design, and she's still keeping the business going. It's fantastic, it's brilliant. You don't have to wait until your formal education is over before you can start doing things and actually making things and setting up small businesses. That's what entrepreneurship is kind of about, or part of entrepreneurship. This man here is a bit of a guru of mine, Professor Yong Zhao. For the educators out here, I highly encourage you to look him up. Presidential Chair and Director of the Institute for Global and Online Education at the College of Education, University of Oregon. And he's published over 100 articles, about 20 books. And this one book here called World Class Learners, particularly encourage teachers to read this one. It's amazing. It's about preparing global and creative and entrepreneurial talents. He believes that as educators, we should be encouraging our students to think globally and to think entrepreneurially. Now, his story is pretty amazing because he started off life in a small Chinese village that had no electricity. And he's moved to this position now. So his story is amazing to hear about. There's another young man which I want to introduce you to. He's an American guy, not a lot older than you, but I want you to look at the connection here between his passion for coding and his passion for creativity.
My name is Jaden Holliday. I'm a student at the University of Utah, and I am studying computer science with an emphasis in entertainment arts and engineering. It's very competitive here. The EAE program is ranked second in the nation for the bachelor's degree, and the graduate degree is ranked #1. Students here at the U are focused individuals looking to go somewhere in life, and I think this is a great place to start collaborating and working. What a lot of professors here at the university focus on is teaching us the tools so that we can actually just be able to create what we see. We use a lot of Adobe programs here at the U because those are what tools are used in the industry. Every student has access to the Creative Cloud. A lot of times you're in a group project and someone designs something in Illustrator and the next student opens it. It's a guarantee that they have the tools to open that project up and start working on it. I love the fact that Creative Cloud is incorporating new tools for me to use in my workflow. And now, as a 3D artist, I can go on there and find animations to use in my artwork. And the fact that you can cross over from any tool on Adobe Creative Cloud and the tools mostly come natural. Once you can get the tools out of the way, your art starts flowing freely, and that's when your style really comes out. When I graduate from the EAE program, I'm hoping to be working in the game industry. Right now I'm starting up a new game studio called Octothorpe, and we're going to be focused on creating games. We're doing a lot of client work. Hopefully by the time I graduate in 2 to 3 years, I'll be starting to do our own projects internally. I love the ability to have the skill set to create those things and make those ideas come to life. If you can dream it, I say you can go and build it.
Pretty inspiring guy. Now, question for a pen, hopefully there's still some left. What birthday did Adobe Photoshop? Yes, 25 is correct. A pen for that gentleman over there with my helpers. Are they still around? Hopefully they still are. Just over there. Put your hand up, mate. There we go. Terrific. Good. Next question. There's the answer, 25. Next question for another pen. I don't think we'll have time to play this, but if you look up YouTube, there's a fantastic little clip on 25 years of Photoshop. I don't think there's any software yet. I'd be pleased to know if it'd be corrected here, but any software that's been the leader in its field for that long, for 25 years, and it's still leading the way. Just give you a little skip that. You can watch the rest of it on YouTube whenever you want to. Which of these Adobe applications does not focus on video production? Answer. Adobe Muse is correct. A pen for this gentleman here. You're out of pens. Any other pens? You're going to have to come and find me later. All right, I can visualize you. I'm at the Adobe desk over there. Congratulations. Which one of these Adobe applications helps you code with Java, CSS, and HTML? And this hand right in the middle there. Yeah, no, you just turned around. You're with the Canon strap on. Call it out. No, not InDesign. No, yep. Dreamweaver is correct. Well done. Pen over here. Any pens left? No, come and see me. I've got a spare pen for you. Oh, we had lots of pens before. All right, let's just skip through the rest of these because I know people are wanting to head off, but you can have a look at those. This one's pretty interesting though. Which of these 2016 Hollywood blockbusters was entirely edited with Adobe's video tools? And I'm doing this as a hypothetical because we've got 50% of you with your hands up already, and the answer is Deadpool. Who's seen it? The director of Deadpool, Tim Miller, made a very interesting statement at a conference last year.
And I used Premiere for a long time. I had a love-hate relationship with it. I punched the screen many times.
I have a hard time imagining that.
It was years ago. But when I came back to it now, it's amazing. I mean, they really revamped the whole thing from the ground up, and it really is if not now, will be soon the finest film editing tool available.
There you go. From that man, that's worth noting. It's exactly the same tool that you're using at school or at home that you have access to. I'm going to skip through these, but that gives you an example of all of the Adobe products that we have out there. A lot more than just Photoshop and what's on the Creative Cloud. And if you're a New South Wales department student, so a state school student here in New South Wales, you get access to quite a lot of Adobe equipment at home for free because the government's paid for it for you. And a lot of students aren't aware of that. And that's the link there to get it. And we've got those out on the Adobe table if you want to grab a brochure to get a handle of that link. There's all the desktop, laptop apps. There's the Creative Cloud apps, which used to be called the Creative Suite. Creative Cloud came out 2.5 years ago. So if you're still working with CS6, you're working with technology that was built 5 years ago. And these are the free mobile apps. If you've got an iPad, an iPhone, if you've got an Android device, half of these are on Android, all of them are on iOS, and they're free. And they do some amazing things. So look up on the App Store or Google Play for Adobe, and you'll find some fantastic tools to work with. Educators, these are the ones that I'm calling the Educators Digital Toolkit as I travel around Asia Pacific. They're the ones that I'm seeing educators and students working with in incredibly creative ways to construct their learning and communicate whatever they need to. Also for educators, the Adobe Education Exchange is a one-stop shop for you. We now have 265,000 teachers on this particular portal, all sharing ideas on how to use our products in creative ways in the classroom. So share that knowledge back with your teachers when you get back to school, the Adobe Education Exchange. We also have a leadership program for teachers as well, which is well worth noting about. If you want to do a search for Adobe Campus Leader, that'll give you a taste of one of our programs. But for students, and I've mentioned this to a number of you at the Adobe booth, if you need any help at all, from beginners classes to full-on master classes in our products, this is a great resource, helpx.adobe.com, to get any sort of help at all. Certification is also worth checking out, teachers, if you want to get your students formally certified from about year 10 upwards. That's also a good option as well to look up. A few competitions, one that I'm about to launch in about 20 seconds. This one's been around for a little while. It's a great competition. The challenge is a global digital art project encouraging young people aged 13 to 24 to speak out about why every girl should have the right to an education. So look up With Marla, and you'd know Marla too, very, very famous identity. And this is a new one being launched right now as I speak. It's called the Adobe 2-Minute Video Challenge. And it's open from now until the end of September to enter a 1 to 2 minute film of something that's important to you. There's the URL there. And have a look at it. You've got all of this year up until the end of September to submit, and then we give out the prizes later in the year. Adobe Department of Education, New South Wales Department of Education have also set up this portal, not just for DOC students, but for everybody, and I'm sharing this around Asia Pacific. It's a fantastic resource that the department here in New South Wales have put together. And we're going to finish up to show you a little taste of the future. Pretty cool. Learn the skills now. Thanks for your time.